Imagine hearing an odd sound that can't be explained. Or seeing a shadowy figure move, but no one is there. A light flickers. You feel a cold breath on your neck.
Is it your imagination? Or is it real? September 2000, Midlothian, Illinois. A high school junior and his friends planned to document their night in the local cemetery for their journalism class. But when they split up, getting the story is less important than getting out.
1700s, Wanakee, New Jersey. The Lenni Lenape Indian tribe refused to enter the haunted woods near their village.
Tonight, 3 teenage boys explore the supernatural area known as the Vortex. These are the real accounts of actual encounters with the bizarre and the unknown. These are real, scary stories. When Mark and his classmates set out to investigate the hauntings at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, they interviewed the townspeople and filmed their stories.
And they went into the cemetery and got a story of their own.
Everyone in the Chicagoland area, especially on the south side, has heard about the supernatural occurrences that happen in and around the Bachelor's Grove area.
If you've ever seen a really scary movie where the cemetery is just overgrown with weeds, this is that cemetery.
And so I wanted to do a project on the Bachelor's Grove area for my TV production class. So am I going to be scared tonight, or?
Well, you're going to one of the most haunted cemeteries in Illinois, so...
I'm Mark, and I live in Midlothian, Illinois, and go to Bremen High School. I take a class called TV production, and in that class we learn about all the different equipment used in TV production, and we also do our own projects. Midlothian is a beautiful suburb in the south of Chicago, and it's also home to one of the most haunted cemeteries in the nation, called Bachelor's Grove.
I believe that it is haunted. I believe in that pretty much all the places that they say are haunted, I believe something happened there. There's floating orbs of blue light, disappearing farmhouses.
Al Capone dumped a few bodies in the lagoon there.
Bodies that were dumped into that lagoon kind of found a resting place in Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
And that's why I heard it's haunted.
Yes, I know, isn't that freaky?
Some people think in a small town that there's nothing really going on, but we have like this really haunted cemetery so close to us.
I do believe in spirits and everything. I mean, it is a cemetery, so I mean, that's the place where stuff is going to happen most likely.
And I think a video project is a good way to learn about it.
Right there.
I started off by going around town and asking the locals what they knew about the Grove. And they told me a lot of different stories, a lot of personal accounts, a lot of stories that I've already heard. But it was all really interesting.
Legend has it that there had been a farmhouse.
Most people describe it as a larger home, very ominous looking. And as you approach this house, it starts to shrink away smaller and smaller and then disappears.
A few of us went back there, and my brother Pat and another guy were standing back there, and out from the tree line came, I guess it'd be the caretaker of the house. He started screaming, him and the two guys he was with, because the caretaker was running after him. And they said they were throwing rocks, and the rocks just passing right through the caretaker.
I talked to Monty, an expert ghost hunter.
March of this year, me and my girlfriend had went out there, and we're in the pond area. This was an area where the mobsters that put their victims in the 1920s and 1930s. Well, directly over the pond, we saw a blue orb about the size of a mini basketball.
Paranormal experts believe that orbs, the spots of light that sometimes appear on photographs, are spirits captured on film.
I don't believe this to be any kind of lens flare, simply because there are no reflective surfaces. It was taken in a dark cemetery pretty late at night. And as well as these orbs that we pick up out at Bachelor's Grove, we also pick up fogs and mists that aren't normally seen with the eye as well. This happens to be a foggy night, and the fog is pretty consistent throughout the photo and literally showed up in every photograph that I took that night. If it was a foggy night, this would definitely show up in more photos.
I spoke with a town historian to try and get a little more history on the Grove.
In our collections at the Historical Society, we have a drawing of the cemetery, which helped us in our research to document the families and the individuals that are buried there. We found some 5 miles from the cemetery a small child's stone from the cemetery There is a story about a ghost woman, sometimes it's a woman in white, and she leaves a fresh flower on a child's grave. There is some people that think that this infant, Emma, was the child's grave that the flower is being left at.
There are a lot of stories, and a lot of them are very convincing. Even though I'd like to believe a lot of these legends, I won't believe anything until I see it.
Tonight, Mark learns that seeing is believing.
Mark, to your left. It looks really new.
When Mark, Larissa, and Lisa entered the cemetery, the plan was to split up, to keep in constant communication, and to remain calm. Things didn't go as planned.
Stories I've heard about Bachelor's Grove range from flying orbs to Al Capone's dead victims in the bottom of the pond to a house that you can't reach because it disappears once you get up close to it. There are a lot of stories, and I'd like to believe them all, but I need proof before I believe them for myself.
You've never been to Bachelor's Grove before? I can't believe you live there. You've lived here all your life and you've never gone there.
I've never been to the Grove myself.
Why haven't you ever been there?
I don't know.
Are you scared?
No, I'm not scared. I've never been to the Grove before because a lot of my friends are really afraid to go there. But I'm going to go ahead and investigate it anyway. Then I met up with Larissa and Lisa. We made plans to sit in the Grove at night with our camcorders, videotaping, to see if anything would show up on the videos.
There's flowers in there. I think it's pretty.
Where?
Little flowers like carved in.
Oh, I thought you meant like fresh flowers. We saw a gravesite, and there was no flower laying on it. But then a few hours later, on the same gravesite, there was a flower laying there. There was nobody around there but us.
Really new. Didn't we come down this one?
Right, we didn't see that there. It looks pretty fresh.
I just wonder if it's us not paying attention or if it's for real.
That was the first time that we were really creeped out.
You realize that right now we are like above the remains of people.
I had a plan in my head about the investigation that night. Larissa and you and me will all like take like an area, and then we get an hour's worth of footage in. Is that cool?
Well,
Like what? Like what are you thinking?
I am like terrified of being here and you're to send me on a trail by myself in the dark.
So I decided that Lisa and Larissa would go down to the pond together, and that I would stay in the cemetery. All right, make sure that you're talking and saying, you know, all right, this is what's going on.
We are heading towards the pond where the dead lobster bodies are supposed to be. There we go.
This is good.
Oh my god, there's
Yeah.
I almost walked right into it.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Good luck. I'll see you in an hour.
Okay, be careful.
Bye.
Be careful and do not go in the vanishing house, Mark!
I had constant communications with the girls. Hello, you guys okay over there?
We're over here camped out by the swamp and we haven't really seen anything yet. It stays that way between you and me.
And so it begins. Just starting this hour of me being by myself. Nothing so far. I'll keep it posted. This place is definitely out there, I'll tell you that much. I was filming the trees and the grave sites and everything that was around me when I was sitting, but I wasn't getting much of anything.
Mark, we can see you from here.
No, I can't see you guys, so I don't think you can see me. I don't know.
What do you hear?
Like noises over the swamp, like something. Oh, I heard it. I'm serious.
Wait, are you there? Hey, Mark, I'm here.
What's going on?
He thought she heard something by the pond, so we're checking it out.
They figured that I was close by, so they weren't afraid.
Honey, you're gonna be fine. Just talk to Lisa.
If you call me sweet things one more time, I'm gonna beat your head in.
Larissa, call. We have a half an hour left.
Let's just do it for one more half hour and we'll be all right.
I can't, Mark. Talking to myself is the only way that I'm not gonna be that scared. So I'm gonna talk about everything that we've seen so far. I just keep hearing like tree branches crack, and I don't know if it's us or like animals or something else, but I have this like a very like not a bad feeling, but like I'm apprehensive, and I don't know if that's me.
Ask Mark if he was moving,
Mark,
because that was a lot of twigs moving.
Were you moving just now?
Something scared Lisa and Larissa really bad.
We just heard some twigs snapping. We just freaked us out a little bit. It's okay.
Alright, you guys are alright.
for like the past 5 minutes, just really, really scared. I gotta be honest with you, I am too. It's just freaking me out. I don't really want to stay out here too much longer.
Mark, now I heard footsteps. Now I am scared, okay?
I'm scared, Lisa. You guys, what's going on?
Lisa, Larissa, somebody talk to me.
We just heard some footsteps that were like, you know, one after another, not like foot breaking from a squirrel. So that just freaked us out a little bit.
Are you guys gonna be okay?
No!
She says no.
I'm so scared.
Seeing the girls in that state was frightening enough for me.
So I am checking in again, and like, Larissa's really scared, and I'm kind of scared now too.
I just felt a cold spot. It's 10:55, and we are coming up there.
Okay, I hear you. Let's just get out of here.
We bailed on the project about 20 minutes before planned.
We are now leaving the pond site. We thought we passed through a lot of cold spots. When we were coming from the pond area, we were walking past the pond up by the cemetery, and we felt a big difference of temperature coming from where we were at to the pond. So I don't know what that means, but we felt it. Wait a minute, hold up. You were over here, or were you over there the whole time?
What?
Were you here the whole time?
Or were you over there? Wait. No. You were...
You guys, I haven't moved the entire time we were here.
You were here the whole time? You weren't by that tree over by the big stone?
No, I was not.
We said wave. Why would you... We said wave at us, and you waved back at us.
Yeah, from here. It definitely wasn't me. I was a pretty far ways away from there.
No.
Guys, don't talk anymore. Let's just get back there. They were really creeped out when they found out that they were staring at somebody that definitely wasn't me.
But from where you said you were, there's no way we could have seen you because you were set back in the graveyard. But this was like right there.
They looked like they were looking at us. Well, if it wasn't Mark that we saw, and he obviously wouldn't lie to us about the project. He wouldn't say, oh, I was there and he wasn't there. So if it wasn't him, there's nothing else that could describe it except if it was that lady in white.
When we first started this whole project, I knew that we were going to get some information, maybe, find out a few things about the cemetery that I didn't know before, but we ended up finding out a lot more than I had bargained for.
Yeah, I think that we got, on our part, a successful project because even if we didn't get it on tape, at least we saw it, right, and
I think we have a very dramatic project on my part because I was...
Right, to show how the fear of the cemetery can make a person change.
Yeah, I'm in a different state now than I was about 20 minutes ago when I was still in there, and I really do think it's a real scary place, and I think it's haunted.